He just recently said that he wasn't going to go back to Yellowstone. No, we talked to Kevin Costner. He's had the idea for his 4-part Western drama American Tale for 30 years. The ruggedly charming Hollywood star Kevin Costner just broke his silence on a shocking secret that everyone was shocked to hear. Costner is known for his parts in classic films like the Untouchables, Dances with Wolves, and Tin Cup. Has shocked both friends and coworkers. What could have caused this great actor to speak out now, after staying out of the public eye for years? Come with us as we learn about the secrets Kevin has been hiding for a long time and why he has chosen to tell them now. What Costner said is shocking and surprising, and it gives us a look into the personal struggles and successes that have shaped his life and work. But first, which Costner movie is the most well-known? Series about Yellowstone. A popular new Western show called Yellowstone has been on since 2018. The show was made by Taylor Sheridan and was about the Dutton family, who lived on the largest ranch in the United States and was close to Yellowstone National Park. Sheridan wrote Yellowstone and a few other modern westerns while he was thinking about how the American West was changing. The area where he grew up. Growing up in a small town in Texas, Sheridan often talks about how much he loves westerns and how riding horses as a child shaped his love for them. At first, he was interested in acting, but after learning theater, he found his true love writing movies. By working on this project, he thought about stories from his childhood and explored his desire to learn more about the modern American West. A subject that Hollywood often ignores, he got ideas for the setting and themes of Yellowstone from his time living on a ranch in Texas. His aim was to be real, showing how this way of life works in the modern world in a way that is true to life. Films like No Country for Old Men and Sicario helped Sheridan become famous and established his own style in the neo-Western genre. These films looked at how Western cruelty has changed society and how hard it is for middle-class families to live through times of change. There are also hints that the impact came from somewhere else. But Sheridan's team hasn't confirmed this. Some people think that Kevin Costner's Western screenplays, Horizon, and American Saga may have inspired him. It's likely that Sheridan's own life events affected the stories in Yellowstone. Many problems he faced as a Hollywood actor made him want to write complex stories about people in a way that fit his own personality. Both Yellowstone and his other works show that he is interested in strong characters and being real. John Dutton is played by Kevin Costner. He is a patriarch who fiercely protects his land and legacy against developers, the Broken Rock Indian Reservation, and the expanding National. The group is led by Kelly Riley, Luke Grimes, Wes Bentley, and Cole Hauser, who play the Dutton family and their friends and enemies. One thing that makes Yellowstone stand out is its stunning photography. The group carefully filmed in Montana and Utah to show the vast landscapes of the American West, which is where the Dutton Ranch is. Many people have praised this focus on details that are based on reality. Not only has Yellowstone been praised for its amazing beauty, but also for its complex and multifaceted story. The show looks into the history of the Dutton family, which is marked by many years of fights and feuds for power that shape their lives and the future of their lair. With each new episode, Sheridan's writing gets better and more interesting, making for a story with lots of little details that keep you interested. The show's filming began in August 2017 in several locations in Montana and Utah. Most of the shooting in Montana happened at Chief Joseph Ranch, which was also the Duttons' home. It was said that production had stopped in December 2017. The next few seasons were mostly filmed in Montana. In August 2020, the show announced that it would be moving to Missoula, Montana, to a new, unknown filming site. As filming went on, the Yellowstone franchise grew with prequels like 1883 Inches and 1923, which went into more detail about the past of the Dutton family. Even so, there were problems with output that came with this growth. In 2021, the pandemic led cast and crew to have to wait longer for their work because of the virus on set. In June 2022, filming for Season 5 began in Missoula. The season was split into 2 parts. Part 1 of the show did air, though, in November 2022. The Writers Guild of America strike in May 2023 meant that Part 2 had to be put off. Parts 2 and 3 will come out in April 2024, at the same time that production starts up again. The SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes in July 2023 will make things even more complicated. Work had to be stopped for good. The production team for the show has been very creative and flexible, even though they've had to deal with problems like pandemics, strikes, and weather that was hard to predict. Their commitment to filming in Montana and making Missoula a production hub has had a big effect on the local economy and kept the Yellowstone series' authentic Western feel. Regardless, the much-anticipated show will end with the upcoming split 5th season. The very last shows are set to air in November 2023 and April 2024. The news that Kevin Costner, who played the lead role of John Dutton, is going is a big reason for this choice. What makes him want to leave? Watch out for now. Why Costner left Yellowstone in the first place? Kevin Costner, who plays Yellowstone in the movie, says he's heading off into the sunset. This is big news from the Dutton Ranch. I'm thinking about Yellowstone, a favorite show that you and I both love. I just realized I wasn't going to be able to keep going. Costner made it clear that Yellowstone was his main goal and brushed off any other ideas that might have been there. He was sure to say that he wasn't to blame for any of the schedule issues, implying that they were the fault of the production team. Costner also said that he had decided not to take part in the public discussion about the problem and instead focus on his work. Still, since he was asked directly, he felt like he had to handle the problem. As a way to be honest, Costner talked about how the production team handled the problem. He is said to have said that they did not back him up or support him during the dispute. Costner said that the team had left him to deal with the results, which made things even worse. He went on to say that he doesn't usually talk to the media unless it's to promote his films and that he doesn't talk about his personal life when he's not working, but he still felt like he had to answer what he thought was a fair and reasonable question. Costner said that the production team probably thought he would say something at some point, even though he wasn't feeling like it at the time because he was busy with other things. Costner talked about the criticism he had been getting over the last year and a half, especially the claim that he had been focusing too much on Horizon and not enough on Yellowstone. He strongly rejected all of these claims, making the point that many times, production delays kept the normal 10 shows from being finished. He said that he worked only 43 days in one season, which proved that he wasn't intentionally reducing his availability. Costner also said that as part of his agreement, he had to go to London for a week to sell his projects, even though COVID-19 was going around at the time. He was very clear that the schedule issues were because of decisions made by the production team and not because of his work on Horizon. People who worked on the project told Variety that the schedule conflict between Yellowstone and Horizon was a big reason why Costner quit the show. Deadline says that Costner's limited availability as the show went on made it even harder to find a way to work the two plans together. Costner had planned to film Yellowstone for 65 days during the first season, but he only asked for 50 days to finish the first part of the shoot for this season. The drop in access had a direct effect on the making of the second set of episodes. Page 6 was told by insiders that Costner had said he only wanted to film for 1 week in May 2023. According to Puck News, Costner had stopped working on the second part of Season 5. However, Costner's lawyer Marty Singer denied these claims. Singer said the rumors were completely false and silly, telling fans not to believe such nonsense. He said that, despite what some stories said, Costner had not limited his schedule to just 1 week. Costner was busy with his role in Horizon when Season 5 of Yellowstone was meant to be being made. Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema bought a 4-part Western tale. It is said that Costner's busy schedule for Yellowstone was made worse by the demanding 220 days it took to shoot Horizon. Costner told Variety that shooting all 4 episodes of Horizon could take up to 8 months. In the fall of 2022, filming for the first part of the project began. The filming for the other 3 parts is set to begin in April 2023. In an interview with The Independent, Luke Grimes, who played Case Dutton, the son of Costner in Yellowstone on screen, also talked about his thoughts on the situation. Grimes is said to have said that he understood Costner's choice to leave the show, even though it was a bad choice. He knew how Costner's move would affect the show, but backed the actor's commitment to Horizon, the project he loved most. Grimes said that Costner had put $38 million of his own money into the project and had many parts in making it happen, such as director, co-writer, lead actor, and producer. Grimes also said that people must follow their passions at some point, even if it means making hard decisions. In a June 2023 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Taylor Sheridan, the creator of the Yellowstone series, gave a different point of view. Sheridan said that the last thing he talked about with Kevin Costner was Costner's desire to direct his pet project. It was still pointed out by Sheridan that Costner had to keep a promise he made with the network. Costner could choose when to leave, but Costner couldn't avoid schedule problems, according to Sheridan. He made it clear that he doesn't decide when things are filmed or aired. That is too much for him to handle. The Hollywood Reporter also said that Costner might shoot a few scenes to wrap up the story of his character, even though no deal had been made and the scripts were not yet finished. In spite of the situation, Sheridan told Costner how much he admired him and praised his playing skills, especially in how he drew the famous person John Dutton. Sheridan did say, though, that the problems could have been solved by talking to each other directly, but the lawyers made things harder. Sheridan said that the lawyers' participation led to chaos, which was full of confusion and lies. He also knew how dedicated Costner was to his Project Horizon and hoped it would be a hit. Concerning what would happen with John Dutton's character, Sheridan was upset with how it would be handled. He said that the beginning of the story would be cut down a bit, but not too much. He made it clear that Dutton wasn't meant to be in the show's ending, so his leaving wouldn't have a big effect on the story as a whole. When asked about what would happen to Dutton in the show, Sheridan joked that he dodged car accidents. After that, he said that his main goal was to tell the story without worrying about how it would affect Costner's pride. People asked Sheridan about his alleged God complex and if he was seen as a controlling force in the creation process. He answered with a laugh that he might not always agree, but that some people, mostly line producers, might feel that way. Then he asked what the word God complex meant and explained how he would talk to everyone working on the project directly. He said he had this idea, wrote it down, and was told to make it happen so the network could sell it. The job you have is to help me do this while staying within the budget. There is never any praise for a show that went on for one season and then was canceled. Variety also said that the last shows of Yellowstone Season 5 were supposed to air in November 2023. Despite this, the strikes by SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild meant that these episodes wouldn't run until November 2024. A report from The Hollywood Reporter says that filming for the second part of Yellowstone was supposed to start in March 2023, but took a hit from the punches. But this had to be put off because of all the trouble that happened after Costner's departure was revealed. The president and CEO of Showtime and MTV Entertainment Studios, Chris McCarthy, was upbeat about the future of the Yellowstone series. He was optimistic about the show's future and said that it had set the stage for other popular shows like 1,883 Inches and Tulsa King. Because Taylor Sheridan is so creative and the actors who play the roles are so great, I'm sure that our upcoming Yellowstone continuation will be a huge hit. The network said that they were working on a follow-up to Yellowstone that would air in December 2023. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Sheridan also talked about the planned follow-up show and said that they were already in talks with Matthew McConaughey to play the lead role. Sheridan said that McConaughey was a great choice for the part. Basically, he seems like an honest person. Over time, we talked about a few things and came up with some ideas. After that, he looked at Yellowstone and dealt with it. He said that he was going to do it. Sheridan said that he meant getting lost in a primitive world that is at odds with the modern world. Reports from earlier this year said that the players in the second season would be the same ones who were in Yellowstone. However, Sheridan may change his mind and think about using a different cast and setting for the project. He left room for interpretation by saying, "To me, a spin-off is pretty much the same thing as a prequel." You can understand that in any way you want. Even though Costner's departure caused some problems, Yellowstone was still a huge hit. According to Deadline, almost 16 million people watched the Season 5 premiere at the same time on networks like Paramount, CMT, Pop, and TV Land. In 2022, this achievement not only made Yellowstone the most watched TV show, but it also set a new record for cable premiere watchers, since 2017's The Walking Dead. Because of how well the show did, Paramount ordered several spin-off series that were like it. These include 1,883 1932 and 6,666 1883, which starred Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, and Sam Elliott, showed how the Dutton family first started building Yellowstone Ranch. 40 years later, in 1,932 Inches, Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren played a new family of Duttons who had to deal with the problems of the 20th century. We know that there will be a second season of the show in February 2023. Another spin-off, called 6,666, was also being made. It was about the Texas ranch that Sheridan and a group of investors bought in 2022. At the same time, Kevin Costner's role in Yellowstone was found to be profitable. Variety said that Costner made more than $1.3 million per episode in Season 5, which is a big jump from his $500,000 per episode pay in Season 1. For the 14 shows that made up the most recent season, Costner could have made more than $18.2 million. There were rumors that Costner was leaving, but Variety said that the star was fully committed to Horizon, a project that was very important to him. Even though there was a lot of drama going on around his departure, Costner stayed committed to his projects as Yellowstone, and Sheridan continued to grow the show's world. Let's go back a few steps. Who is Costner, to be honest? Who was Kevin Costner before he played Yellowstone's role, and what else was he known for? He was born in Linwood, California on January 18, 1955. He was the third son and youngest. Dan, his older brother, was born in 1950. A third brother, who was born in 1953, died soon after birth. William, Kevin's father, started out as a plumber and worked his way up to become an executive at Southern California Edison. Sharon Ray, Kevin's mother, worked in the welfare sector. As a child, Costner moved around a lot because his father's work was going well, but they stayed in California. Because he moved around a lot, he had to switch schools a lot. This made it hard for him to make lasting friends and hurt his self-esteem throughout school. In spite of this, he did well in sports. In high school, he did especially well in basketball, football, and baseball. Costner went to California State University, Fullerton after graduating from high school and studied business there. During his last year, he secretly took acting lessons without telling his wife. A chance meeting with actor Richard Burton on a flight from Mexico was a turning point for Costner, encouraging him to become an actor as a career. After he graduated from high school in 1978, he worked short-term jobs like driving cars and giving tours of famous people's homes while trying to make a living as an actor. His first role was in the 1983 ensemble movie The Big Chill, but his parts were later cut out. The director, Lawrence Kasdan, was still amazed though and hired Costner for the 1985 Western Silverado, which opened many doors for him in Hollywood. Movies like The Untouchables 1987, No Way Out 1987, and Field of Dreams 1989 helped Costner stay on the A-list. His big movie, Dances with Wolves, which he both starred in and directed, was a huge hit in 1990. It won 7 Academy Awards and made him even more famous as a skilled actor and director. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves 1991, The Bodyguard 1992, Wyatt Earp 1994, and JFK 1991 were some of the films that stood out in the 1990s. Costner returned to directing with The Postman in 1997, but it wasn't an instant hit. Costner came back strong in the 2000s with hits like Open Range 2003, The Upside of Anger 2005, and The Company Man 2010. He also did well on TV. For his role in the History Channel miniseries Hatfields and McCoys in 2012, he got an Emmy Award for Best Actor in a Miniseries. Not only does Costner play and direct, he also really loves music. He formed the country rock band Kevin Costner and Modern West, which put out records like Untold Truths 2008, Turn It On 2010, and Tales from Yellowstone 2020. The band has played in many places around the world, such as Rome and Istanbul. Costner has won a lot of awards for his acting. Among them are 2 Oscars, 2 Golden Globes, 1 Primetime Emmy, and 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards. His works Dances with Wolves and The Postman got him the nominations for Best Director and Best Picture. His work was great, but his love life was nothing compared to it. Marriage and relationships. Still, he has had to deal with a lot of personal problems in his life. As for his love life, Costner was married twice but ended up divorcing both times. 7 of his children were born to 3 different women. To give you an example, he married Cindy Silva first. He had known her since the late 1970s at California State University, Fullerton. They got married in 1978 when Costner was only 23 years old after meeting while they were in college. It was just starting to go well for him as an actor at that point. Different sources say that they were very committed to each other at first. Costner did a lot of odd jobs to make money during his difficult playing career, and Silva worked for Delta Airlines. Costner became more famous for his parts in films like The Untouchables and No Way Out by the mid-1980s, though. Being a Hollywood star started to hurt their marriage. Silva wasn't crazy about Costner's sexier parts, and all the attention from women was starting to get to him. In the early 1990s, things came to a head when it was said that Costner was having sexual relations with other women. There were rumors that Costner was seeing a hula dancer named Michelle Amaral as they filmed Waterworld in Hawaii. Silva couldn't ignore the strong rumors, even though her husband denied them. After 16 years of marriage to Amaral, she filed for divorce in 1994. It said in their unified declaration that they had successfully settled all issues linked to our children and money. They were friendly, but their split cost a lot of money and was one of the most expensive in Hollywood history. It was a deal from Costner that gave Silva about $80 million. Silva had never signed a prenuptial agreement. In an interview with the media in 2012, Costner said that his views had been changed. There is no one who wants their marriage to end, but it did. You'll only get to see your kids half as often. There is a big gap there. He and Silva raised their 3 kids, Annie, Lily, and Joe, together, even though it got a lot of attention from the media and cost a lot of money. A person who knew them said that after the split, they focused on how much they loved each other's children. In the middle of the 1990s, Kevin Costner began dating Bridget Rooney. Rooney is the daughter of the famous Rooney family, who owns the Pittsburgh Steelers. This happened soon after his bad split from Cindy Silva in 1994. At first, Costner and Rooney didn't tell anyone about their romance. In 1996, Rooney finally came clean and said she was pregnant with Costner's child. This caused a paternity disagreement because Costner had initially denied being pregnant. Then Rooney asked for a DNA test, which showed that Costner was Liam Costner's real father. In October 1996, Liam was born. A DNA test showed that Costner was the father. He then took care of his son and set up a trust fund for him. Liam was given joint custody so that he could spend time with both parents, but it has been said that Costner doesn't see his son very often. Rooney and Costner became less close to each other over time. That year, Rooney married Bill Koch, a very wealthy businessman, and the 2 of them have a daughter together. Between then and now, Costner had already married his second wife, Christine Baumgartner. In the 1990s, they met for the first time while Costner was playing golf while making the movie Tin Cup in 1996. That year, in 1998, they met by chance at a diner and quickly became friends. They got married in September 2004 at Costner's 160-acre home in Aspen, Colorado. The Costner and Baumgartner family has 3 children: Caden, Hayes, and Grace. She was also a mom to Costner's kids from previous relationships. Joe, Lily, and Annie are from his marriage to Silva, and Liam is from his relationship with Rooney. In spite of this, Baumgartner filed for divorce from Costner in May 2023 after 19 years of marriage. They blamed the split on differences that can't be solved. According to court records, the couple had split up a month earlier, in April 2023. Baumgartner and Costner got a very nasty divorce because she wouldn't leave their California home as agreed in the prenup, even though she had to in 30 days after they broke up. Baumgartner said she didn't make any money on her own and didn't have the money to move. The ex-partners also had different ideas about how to divide up the things they owned together. Costner was trying to grab too many pots and pans, so Baumgartner made fun of him. Costner agreed to pay Baumgartner $30,000 a month for rent and $10,000 to help with the costs of moving as part of the child support agreement. The legal disagreement between them went on for months and was finally settled in September 2023. While the judge agreed with the prenuptial agreement, they did not say what the payment was. On the bright side, the ex-spouses agreed to co-parent their 3 kids without fighting. Baumgartner was also told that Costner had to pay her $63,000 a month in child support. In the end, the divorce case was settled in February 2024. It wasn't long after Baumgartner's divorce from Costner was finalized in May 2024 that she was seen holding hands and showing love to financier Josh Connor in Montecito, California. People first thought they might be dating when they were seen on vacation together in Hawaii the summer before. Baumgartner denied having a relationship with Connor at first while she was going through her divorce, but she later admitted that they were seeing each other. Sources close to Baumgartner say that she began dating Connor soon after breaking up with Costner. Connor is thought to understand Baumgartner's situation as a single parent and connect with her love of the ocean and beach life. However, what does Costner like to do? What kinds of things did he do for himself? Watch out for now. Costner's interest in activism. Kevin Costner used to be a Republican. Ronald Reagan was the 40th President of the United States. He was not only his friend, but also a strong supporter of Reagan. They were connected in more ways than one. They often played golf together. Costner was well known for how much he liked Reagan, and he openly supported conservative ideas and policies at the time. Costner did, however, change his political ideas in a big way in the early 1990s. In 1992, he started giving money to Democratic leaders, which was a big change from his past politics with the Republican Party. He backed Democrats like Tom Daschle, who was the past Senate Majority Leader, and Al Gore, who was Vice President of the United States. Even though Costner switched his support, he still gave money to fill and backed Republicans. This shows that even though Costner's political views changed over time, he stayed committed to supporting candidates from different parties when he agreed with their views. Before the 2008 U.S. presidential race, Costner said he was interested in politics but didn't want to run for office. To be more specific, he said, "I've had a very exciting life," implying that his accomplishments and life events had satisfied any political goals he had had. Costner chose not to run for government. Instead, he used his fame to encourage others, especially young people, to get involved in politics. Towards the end of the 2008 election, Costner backed Barack Obama, who was running as a Democrat. Because Costner was living in Colorado at the time, he was very active in helping Obama's campaign there. He spoke at Colorado State University with a lot of energy and talked about how important it is for young people to vote early and with enthusiasm. Costner accepted that his generation had failed and that they had not been able to change the world. He encouraged younger people to step up and do what his generation had not been able to do. Politics were still important to Costner after the 2008 election. In October 2014, he sent a heartfelt message to British soldiers stationed around the world to show his appreciation. This show of gratitude showed how much he respected the service members' efforts no matter what country they were from. What does Costner do that you love the most? Do you agree with his reasons for leaving Yellowstone? Feel free to leave a message below. If you like this video, please click the next button and share it with your friends.